Hello everyone, this is Professor Maloney and I'm here today to do my last video recording of this term. Yay, yay, it's done. Um, I'm going to be doing actually today, no jokes at all, this is going to be programming exercise 8-6. Now there are a number of ways you can do programming exercise 8-6 and a few of you have done it. Um, uh, and as a matter of fact, three of you, actually three people out of four have done it, and they didn't do it using a function. And I reread the instructions, and technically it doesn't tell you you have to do a function. And it's not like it's a big deal one way or the other, but I told you that I would be doing, my programming examples from chapter 8 also with functions. So mine is going to have what I'm doing and demonstrating to you today will have a function basically to get the grades. Let me reread programming exercise 8-6 to you in a moment. But first, I want to just go over two more things or three things that are important to get you to remember where we're at in the term. So first of all, let me start to share my screen here, okay? All right, so in the class, I had sent in a couple home pages. In my home page, I'd done a couple announcements recently. Let me hide that. I think, let me actually again verify if I'm sharing the screen. Let's see, I definitely seem to be sharing, definitely seem to be recording. I am recording and I am sharing, and I've got my volume and I've got the share screen there. Okay, so yeah, I sent you guys an email about Computer Science Education Week. And I also posted it as a course announcement here. So if you want to make a 100, a free 100 on any given one programming exercise, so you pick a programming exercise that you did not do from units 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, any one of them, and I'll give you 100 on it, but you must prove that you attend this Computer Science Education Week December the 8th extra credit event. It's from 12 p.m. until 1 p.m. on Wednesday, December the 8th. It's going to be a Zoom session. Okay, here's the link. It says join Zoom meeting, and you just click. Okay, they may ask you for a meeting ID. If they do, it'll be this thing here, the 813 whatever. I can't edit this right now because I can't select because I'm not sharing it. But I sent this to you as an email last Thursday, December the 2nd, and it's posted here as well. As a matter of fact, I probably still have my email around here, right here. So this is the other class, but I've sent it to both of my programming classes. So this is for, one class or the other. But both of you got this about, noontime, just before noontime on December the 2nd. All right. So this tells you what it's all about. It's, again, Wednesday, December the 8th from noon to 1 p.m. That's the link, but that's a picture, so it won't work. But this is the link right here. Okay, join the Zoom meeting. And if they ask for a meeting ID, it'll be that. Now, when you click this meeting, if you want to get this extra 100 points, or just, I shouldn't say extra, but a free 100 points for any programming exercise that you did not do. And then you'll send me an email telling me which one you want to get the 100 points for. But it's not that easy. I'm going to wait, and it'll take 1 or 2 days for them, meaning Miami-Dade College, to send me the attendance list, because I told them I'm giving my students credit for one of their programming exercises if they attend. So if you don't show up in their roster, that means you just didn't push it, because when you click this link, I'm pretty sure it's going to first ask you for either your first name or your first and last name or whatever. They may ask you what class you're in, but if you're not, I would put in your first and last name and then put dash Professor Maloney. Okay, then for sure when I see the attendance list, I'll see that I'm there. Like literally, if it says enter your name, you can enter Jane Doe and then dash Prof, maybe Prof rather than Professor to make it not quite as much, Prof Maloney. Okay, And then when I get the attendance list, I'll just focus on my names, right? And if they send it to me in whatever kind of a file, I can do a Control F to find and just search for Maloney's, because I'm assuming a lot of kids are going to be attending this. But if you are not registered, even if you tell me you were there, I can't give you credit. So make sure you do it right. All right. All right. So that's that. I also sent an invitation on Thursday for last Thursday, or I may have sent it on Wednesday, for a job fair event. And I know 3 or 4 of you went to that. 2 of you have already sent me, or 3 of you have already sent me things showing that you were there. I still have not got the attendance roster. I need to send them an email, although maybe it's in by now. But I'll be sending them an email saying, hey, I need this, because I said you can also get a free programming exercise for that, right? But anyway, so if you want to go to that, please go, because then you get to 1 free programming exercise. So if you don't want to do 8.6 or 8.5, 8.4, whatever, but just 1, obviously, then I'll give it to you. All right. Okay. Also, let me get rid of some of these things. We're winding down the term, right? We are winding down the term. So pretend that this is December the 7th, because that's when I'm going to be playing this video. And I'm going to say to you, 1 week from today is December 14th. That is your final exam in this class. And as I've said many times, your final exam is not comprehensive or cumulative. It's just covering the last 2 units, Unit 7 and Unit 8, okay? So, you know, when there's an exam, it's always on a Tuesday, and that means that the Thursday before, I always give you a practice exam. So I will be giving you a practice exam on Thursday, this Thursday. So again, I'll pretend this is Tuesday the 7th. So 2 days from today in class, you're going to get a practice exam. That practice exam will be very similar to the real exam, just the way I've done the first 2 exams. All right, so make sure you're here on the 9th. And finally, the last thing is that all of your assignments, programming exercises for Units 7 and 8, and the quizzes for Units 7 and 8 are due by 11:59 p.m. this Thursday, 2 days from today, December 9th. And I've told you why. This is week 16. You're officially in a 2-day-a-week class. This is not an MDC online class. 2-day-a-week classes are Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. Yours is Tuesday, Thursday. So the last day of week 16 is Thursday, December the 9th. So all your homework, all your activities that are graded are due on Thursday, December the 9th. All right. Now, the 10th, the 11th, the 9th at night, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. I always give you those 4.5 or 5 days with your practice exam so that you can do it over and over again to make sure you're comfortable with it and that you're ready then 1 week from today, Tuesday, December 14th, to take your exam. And it must be taken during class time, and it ends, in this case, there's no late abilities. You know, class goes from 10:40 to 12:10 for the first class, 12:30 to 2:10 for the second class. So you know which class you're in. Make sure you come to class on time, all right? And then you'll be able to have plenty of time to do your exam. The practice exam, again, on December the 9th, will have a grading rubric like all my other ones have done. It's going to help you, right? So make sure you're here for that. Okay, so now, getting back to what I was just saying. So now I'm going to go over to REPL and show you my code here, all right? And then I'll run this code. This time I'm going to have you take pictures first, and then I'll kind of talk my way through it after, okay? And then I'll also run it in Blackboard, all right? Sorry, in MindTap. All right, so let's take pictures. Oops, let's see here. So that's from 1 through 18, all right? So take a picture of that, 1 through 18. Okay, lines 1 through 18, that is. There's going to be 3 or 4 more because I've got a lot of comments. There's comments on almost every darn line, on every line, sorry. All right, so 10 more seconds for the first picture. So that's down now to 18, line 18. All right, so now I'm going to go down to line 19 and go down from there. So line 19. All right, so line 19 to line 35. I'm not halfway for sure yet. Okay, so take a picture of this one, line 19 to line 35. 10 more seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to line 36. All right, line 36 to line 52. I'm barely halfway. Again, mainly because I'm putting so many comments, all right? All right. So line 36 to line 52, picture 3 of this program. By the way, this time I'm giving you everything. I'm not giving you, even though I always say I'm giving you everything and I don't quite give you everything, but I sure darn well come close. But this one is, I'm giving you literally everything. All you got to do is type it out the way I give it to you. Make sure that the pictures are, as you're typing, that you're typing them accurately. Then you can submit it just the way it is. All right. All right. So that's down to line 52. Oh, wait, that was, shoot, I think the top part of 52. Let's see. Because that was 36, right? So, yeah. So the top part of line 52, but I need this part of it. All right, so now, and I don't want, okay, so from that one there, just slightly above line 53 down to case 3 in the switch. Okay, so 50, we'll want to call it 52 and a half down to 71. Okay, take a picture of that. 10 more seconds. Okay, that's down to line 71. All right, now. All right, so now it goes down to, well, really it's the way I've got this, I don't know why they're not showing me my normal view here. Anyway, don't worry about it. But so just take a picture of that. And if you remember, it was to line 71. So just try to focus on line 72 down to line 87. That's the end of the program. All right, last picture. Okay. You might say, hey, professor, you messed up. There's 2 return Fs. No, return F is for case 5, and then it's the default for if they don't, type in the right information. Okay. All right. So that is that. Now let me run the program. Okay. So I'll run the program over here to show you what's going to do. That is what your program should do. I added a couple extra test cases here. The text file. Let me show the files. This is the text file. I added these 2 down here. So I'm not going to delete them now. But yours only have the first one here where it says like record 1. That's what we call what I'm calling the, let's see, answer key string, the key string, okay? And then the answer key is going to be basically for the 4 student records, 2, 3, and 4. The 5th one here, they're not in that line order because the first one is called the key string, meaning the answers, the right answers. And then the students are the ones where the IDs are these fields that begin with ABC, DEF, ABC, ABC. And then I just added the 2 XYZs today just to give a couple more results. But that's not what I want you to pay attention to. All right. Okay. So this is now the code. I'm going to go through the code and then I'm going to paste this. So before I'm thinking about that, let me copy it all again. So copy from here down. So I can paste it into the other thing. All right. So control copy that. All right. So that is set. Now, excuse me. So IO stream, F stream, and C stream. So in chapter 3, we had a file stream. In chapter 5 or 6, we had another file stream. And here we have another file stream. And we may have had one in chapter 7. I don't know yet if my final exam is going to have one, but you'll for sure know when you come to class in 2 days, Thursday, December the 9th, because whatever's on the practice exam is what you're going to be liable for. If there's no file stream, you will not have a file stream on the final. All right. But if you have a file stream, you got the pound include, less than, F stream greater than, and the F stands for file. All right, just like IO is input output. So F for file. And then C string, these are character strings. Character strings are used for what we call parallel arrays, when you're basically using the normal one-dimensional array style, but with it you're having two arguments. One argument is going to be something, the first part of the array, and the second will be the second part of the array. It is not to be confused with a two-dimensional array. It is a one-dimensional array, though, with two arguments. So it's C string, and it stands for character string. Okay. All right. I'm using a constant, and every time I tell you to use a constant, I tell you to declare the constant above int main. So this is number of questions, and I also say to always capitalize them, right? So this is just my constant variable for number of questions equals 20, which means there are 20 questions on these little tests that the students are taking right here, okay? Just to let you know before I keep going down there, go back over here. So this first record for the students, again, the real first record, this one is the answer key. So that's the one called key string. I should have called it answer key. But anyway, the key string, all right? Then the second record is the first student record. The first 8 characters are the student ID information, but we're actually capturing 9 characters for it because the 9th character is going to be for this space that I'm going to be using right here. But in any event, so ABC 54102 is the first student record, and these are his or her 20, well, answers to the 20 questions. Where you see a blank, like there's a blank right here between the first T and the first F, that means the student didn't answer the question. Over here between the second last F, I guess, third last character, and the last true, and again, the student didn't answer it. Okay, so students get 20 total questions. So if they don't answer 2, then logically they've already lost 10 points, right? The next one, the student answered all 20 questions. And by the way, this one ends up getting 100. This one ends up being a D, which you'll see after a while. This one ends up being a B, I think a B. And this one ends up being another D. And these two I just added. This is a 10 and this is a 7. All right, so yeah, so these are the records you want. These are the ones called, so this is an answer string, okay? This is an answer string. This is an answer string. This is an answer string. And I won't mention those two because they're not in MindTap for this. I just added them. All right, so the whole point is obviously, we're not making an out file, just to let you know. So this is the in file though. And then we go back over here. So I talked about the pound includes, the using namespace as always, the constant for the number of questions. And then I said, you don't officially have to do a function. So if you don't want to, then you don't need to declare a function prototype above int main. But this is me doing it again. So defining value returning char function prototype. It's value returning because it's not a void. Remember, it's char. So that means it's returning a 1 character something. And that 1 character something is going to be a letter grade. All right. Okay. So then down here, key string is for the right answers, and answer string is the student's answers. So I'm declaring 2 variables, one called char for key string and one called char for answer string. But number of questions, you can see it's an array, okay? But this is a parallel array here. We're just adding 1 to it, or again, a character string array. So we're taking the number of questions, 20, we're adding 1 to it, because when we get to that last character, we're going to go down to a new line. So I just put +1 to make it obvious that it's not the number of questions that we're dealing with. We're adding 1 character afterwards. Again, because after these things here, when you run the program, after these last 2 F's as an example, there'd be a space, then there's going to be a score, then there's going to be a space, and then there's going to be a letter grade. Okay. All right. So now, so that's those chars. The ID is going to be used for that student ID. So again, the student ID is this, 8 characters all the way. They're all 8, but I have it set up as 9 so that I can have an extra space to do something with, just to move me to a different row if that's what I want, or a different line. All right. So that's used for student ID. The CH is just going to represent any given char when we're running our loops in the program. Int score, that's the score that we're calculating. We're just going to be trying to determine whether the student made an A, B, C, D, or F. The way we're going to calculate the score, actually, I'll just go scroll down to that, and then I'll come back. So I'm at int score. So I'm going to have a for loop down here, starting in line 44. Okay, and you see the for loops in 44 to 50 is what I'm saying, is getting each T and F, meaning true and false, and any gaps, meaning any questions the students didn't answer, and adding or minusing 2 points or 1 point respectively, or no points really. So I'll explain them as I read through this part before I go back to the top again. So this is a loop. This one here is for us to calculate scores. All right. So for I equals 0, I less than 20, and then I plus plus. And I, again, is also one of these values that we're using here, int I, for each char in the for loop. Okay. All right. So answer string I, remember answer string has been set up right here as number of questions plus 1. And then answer string is also set up with number of questions plus 1. In other words, they both have 21 as the total. Okay. So down here, answer string I starts at 0. That means it goes up to 19, obviously. Okay. And 19 is less than the 20. And each time it's going to be going through. So the first question here is if the answer string of I, meaning 0, is that not equal to an empty string? Okay. So if we go over here again and look at the values, you can see that there's a T here. This T here is this T here. Okay. This T, everyone actually got the first one right is what that means. T, 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 and T, T, whatever, whatever. Okay. So that's this value here. That's 0 there. That's key string. And here it's answer string. Here it's answer string. Here it's answer string. Here it's answer string. Here it's answer string, and here it's answer string. And again, the last two don't technically count. Maybe I'll even just delete them. Okay, but for now I'll leave it. All right, so this is 0. So that means the second one is an empty string, meaning the student didn't answer. So this one I'm going to kind of explain closely now. All right. So remember that officially the first character, the one that's I0, every student gets it right. All right. So go back over here. All right. So when I'm doing the thing in the calculation, so if answer string is not equal to an empty string, well, this is true because it's not equal to an empty string. It had every first answer had the letter T. So it's none of this, which means it's true. So it comes into the next code statement. Okay. If it was false, it would then skip this and just go back to the top of the loop. All right. So now the next question is if answer string I equals key string I. Remember, answer string, okay, let's go over here again. Answer string are these strings. Answer to the end of that. Okay, answer string, answer string, answer string, all the way down their answer string. This one is called key string. So what we want to do is compare answer string, each char in answer string. Like this one is the third character, so it compares to this one. Okay. Like this one, they got that third character wrong. This one, they got the third character wrong. But this one, the third character is right. This one, it's not done though. Okay, so it's just blank. All right. Okay, so down in our loop again. So if it's a empty string, we would just go back to the loop and go to the next character. They get no points for an empty string. They don't get 2. And they don't lose 1. They just don't get any credit for it. So obviously they're losing points. Okay, so then the next if, which is the second one I just started to read, if answer string of I equals key string of I, meaning if the first character is a T, that matches this first character, which is a T, then this is true. So it'll come into score, which right now is 0. Score equals 0. And score will be 0, but then plus 2. So the new score is 2. Okay. Else means this statement here wasn't true. So if answer string of I meaning the first character is not equal to the same first character on the key string, then they lose a point. -1 means a point is taken away from your score. Okay, so that's how that works. So if it's the first one, meaning it's an empty string, it doesn't even get down here. So they have no possible points for it. But every point they don't have down here ends up impacting them by like 2.5 points overall, because it's 20 questions, sorry, 5 points overall. It's 20 questions. And if you don't do 2, then obviously you didn't do 10% of the test, 5% for each score that you didn't do. So anyway, that's how the scores work. All right, so you come back up here where I did that. So I talked about the score. Then the int length, that's the length of the string. Okay, so the length of the string we want to get when we're down here. So when we're saying we're going to get the key string here, and then we got key, and then we've got the key string, all right? If I want to see how long the key string is, I can put a little coot statement in there. Did I run this thing yet? I think I did, but let me run it again. Run it. Okay. So you see over here, it tells us those results. So remember, this first one up here is key string, and this processing data ... is just me having fun, because if you're processing thousands or tens of thousands or millions of records or whatever, this might literally take 10 or 20 or 30 seconds, right? So sometimes, website would have a dot, something's happening. So it's just saying to the user, processing data, but then obviously this pops up. So anyway, the key, and then we put the key, okay? Then the ID, and then we put the student's answer string. And that's where we're comparing the first T to this T. They're the same. The second T, we're comparing to the empty string. So they're not the same, but this is also an empty string, remember, so it doesn't even go into the rest of the if. It just means it goes back to the top. So then it's this F here, the third character, against this F. So that's true. So far they've got 2 out of 3 right, but they got 0 points for the one in between. So if each one is 2 points, they could have 6, but so far they have 4. Then the T matches with the T. The F matches with the F. So far they haven't missed anything, actually, except for the one they didn't do. Then another T. Let's see, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a T. So that's also right. And then another T. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an F. So they got another one wrong there. I have to tell my boss I'm okay, I got to tell her something. So anyway, that's the way the grading takes place. All right, so that is that on there. Show files again, and main CPP. All right, so going back up here. So let's now, so you understand obviously the variables. Especially these constants that I just talked about. I mean, it was the constant up top, number of questions. And then we're using key string and answer string a lot in this program with number of questions plus 1 to have 21 total values, right? And the idea I mentioned to you, that's the student ID. And then the char for when we're going through and doing things with chars in our loops, the score when we're doing our calculations, the length. Oh, I was talking about the length. I said if we want, I could actually show the length as well. So when you're doing something, length equals string length of answer string. So if I want to, I can just put in here, I don't know why this, let me just edit in the workplace again. I don't know what happened to where I was, but anyway, so it was telling me here. Length equals that. So if I want to see how long they are, I can then just put in here a little coot, less than length. Okay. And then I want to erase this after. All right, so now you're going to see as part of the answer string, because I'm going to be dealing with the answer string, you're going to see now I didn't put spaces before, so it's just going to butt up against it. So if I run it now, you're going to see a little bit more on it. See, now it's got 20. So the 20 is the length of this key here. The answer key is 20. Okay, it doesn't take out the empty strings because that's still a character. It's called a null character. Okay. But that is a character, so that's 20. This one here is also 20. And this one, by the way, they get a 40 out of 40, so they get a perfect score. But these other two, see, are only 17. because these two, they didn't answer the last three. So it's not that they skipped one. Well, this one they skipped one, but this one didn't skip any, but it's still 17 characters. This one they skipped one and also didn't do three. So the skip one doesn't count because it is in the books as a null character. All right, so it's 17 characters. The last three don't. All right, so that's what that's doing. And of course here, for my values, I have a 5 and a 5 because I only typed in 5 things. But again, these two are not really counting. All right, so that's just showing you those lengths. So I don't need to put that in here, though it wasn't required as part of the program. All right, okay. All right, so we got that. Now, the answer string, okay, so here, after each record is going through, all this one is doing here is adding in the empty string, which is this null character. Oh, dang it. Here's that, /0. So, length equals that. Let me go back and look at my little code where I was at here again. Professor Maloney, the length equals the string length. Length equals string length, length equals string length. All right, so no, oh, here my answer string is where I was. Answer string, right? Let's see where I was. Length equals string length. And then I had the 4. Wait a minute. Length equals string length, answer string. I don't remember taking out my whole for loop. Anyway, let me just put it back this way then. So that for loop there, length equals the answer string. Go down to the end of that 4, so the closing curly brace. And I have to make sure that I get rid of anything that's not the closing curly brace. All right, so length equals string length, answer string. And I have gotten rid of the closing, so now I don't really need it again. I can just paste in here and everything will be there, and I'll just get rid of this one. Okay, so then paste this in. Okay. So for the length of that, answer string equals that. Did this end here? Is this where it ended? Go back here again. Professor, all right, so answer string equals, answer string, oh no, this is the answer string I, stupid. All right, yeah, that's where I am actually. Okay, answer string I equals the empty string, and then we're assigning the null character to it, so let it come down, and then the answer, wait. No, okay, this one doesn't, that's not there. Okay, there we go. Again, delete, okay. Got that. All right, so all this for loop is doing, all right, is moving us down after this, not after the F here, because this is in answer string, not the key string, but here, after this last character, it goes down to the new line for the next person's ID and string. Excuse me, after this last character, goes down again. Why? Because look, it says I equals the length, all right, I less than 20, and I plus plus. But remember, I just showed you what it was doing with when I put that length, okay? I equals length. So the length here for the first one is 20. So that's already less than 20, all right? So it's not going to do anything, so it doesn't do. The next one is, see, it's still here, actually. I didn't delete this yet. So there's a 20. It's got to be deleted. Here's a 20. So all it's doing is going down to the next line. Now this one's a 17 though. So let's look at the 17. So now I equals 17, okay? Is I less than 20? Yes, it is. Go on up and go back to 18, okay? And then what's going to happen though is the answer string of I, we're just going to make it equal down here to 20. In other words, because we want it to be a new line, so because we can't control if a student answers every question or not, we don't know that they're going to all be answering 20 different questions. When there's gaps, it counts because they're called null characters. But when they're not answered, then it's not counted. It's only counted if they then put a space bar after this, like in this one here, the 17 ABC, whatever. If after the last F, if they do space, 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 then yeah, they would be counted and it would go up to 20. But in this case, they're not. So it's 17. And remember, it says 17 right here. So then all the 17 is going to do is get it up to 20 and put in a null line termination character there. That's all that's doing. Okay. And of course, starting the score over again. All right. So that's what happens in that one. Then, excuse me. For the loop in lines 44 to 50, I think this is the part that I was just talking about before I did that stuff. And this is where it's assigning the values for each character, because each character has to be, the grade has to be determined. It's either right or wrong, or it wasn't entered. So again, if it wasn't entered, it just goes back and goes to the next one. If it was entered and it was entered correctly, meaning the answer string, which is what the student's entering, if that equals the key string above it in the same position. So we obviously know the first one is 0, but let's go to the last one. So this last one now is 20, right? So if this one is an F, well, this one's an F, so the student got it right. This one's an F, the student got it right. But this one's not an F because there's 3 more, but this student didn't do it. And this student didn't do it. In the case over here, both students didn't do it because they only did the first 5, okay? But it's a matter of understanding which I, and that's why when I talked about arrays in my chapter 8 overview, and I also talked about arrays in the first programming example we did for chapter 8, I mentioned how literally like this one here where it's answer string with the left and right bracket with an I in between, that's 20 characters in here. So it's answer string 0, answer string 1, answer string 2, answer string 3, all the way up to answer string 19 because it's 0 base. So 0 to 19 is 20. So that's 20 separate variables is the point, right? But it's all done based on little left and right brackets and then an index value in between, because that, you see, is the loop. The loop is saying we're starting it at 0, and then we're going to go up until it, meaning the I again, is less than 20, so up until 19, and each time we're going to increment it by 1. And for each one, then we do the if. If the if is true, see, all these things are going to happen. These things are happening. Then we want to know, well, what was it? If it wasn't an empty string, then it's either a true or a false. Okay? And if it's a true or false, then we want to, if it's correct, true or false, if it's correct or incorrect is the bottom line. So if it's correct, we add 2 points. If it's incorrect, we subtract a point. Okay? So that's what we're doing on that. Then, at this point, though, that's just behind the scenes. That's just what the program's doing. Then we're putting in the information. We want to put in their ID. We already put in the processing data and the key, so that's already in. Now we want to put in ID, and these are the ID values, all right? So the ID, and we want to do it for each person. So we're going to go into, after we get ID, the answer string. Remember, answer string, again, is not this thing here with the word key, but the answer string are the other 4, not counting these bottom 2. So the other 4 values. So we're going to have answer string, and then we're going to have a 2-line space, okay? Then we're going to have the score, then a 2-line space, then we're calling the function, okay? So we're calling the function exam grade, and then score. Score comes down. So if you just want to figure out one of the scores, I'll just do it with the easy ones down here, meaning less characters, so I can explain it a little bit better as we're going through. So let's go back now to this 4 here, and we're going to go through the scores on these 5 characters. Remember, these 5 here are only the first 5 here. Okay, so that's what we have to remember. So in the one with a 10, that means all 5 are right, because it's 2 points if they're right. So let's just look at them. But we'll look at each character, all right? So in this case, we're starting at 0, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll start at 0. So 0 for this one is a T, okay? 0 for the key string is also a T. So it's true that it's a, that they match. Therefore, score equals score. So 0 is the score up here on line 43. So it's 0 equals 0, but then plus 2 because it was accurate, all right? Then it comes back to the top. So now, instead of I equals 0, it's I equals 1. Well, if I equals 1, it's the second character. So the second character, remember I'm on the second last row. Second character is a T. Well, the second character in the key string is also a T. So again, they match. So it's not an empty string. Okay, it does equal, each of the i's equals each other. So score was 2, and now it's 2 plus 2 more, so it's 4. Then it goes to the third character. The third character is the second I. So I equals 0, then it was 1, now it's 2. That's the third character. 2 is less than 20. So we're incrementing. Then, is it an empty string? No, it's not. It's a F. And what's the third character in the key string? It's also a F. So again, it's going to be true. So 4 is the score, equals 4 plus 2. Because here it's the third one is also right. Now, the fourth one is 0, 1, 2. That's the third, but it's the fourth character. So the fourth character was a T. Fourth character up here in the key is also a T. So once again, it's correct. So I equals 0. That means, you know, we were 0, then we were 1, then we were 2. Now we're 3. 3 is less than 20. Increment again. It's not an empty string. Again, they match. So we were 6. And 6 equals 6 plus 2, so now we're 8. Comes back to the last one, which is 4, which means the fifth character. So that one's a F, and up here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's also a F. So once again, it's correct. And then though, it comes up here and there's no more records. It's an empty string now, so it skips. It's an empty string, it skips. It skips until it gets up to 20, okay? Then when it has the score, comes down to, now it's done calculating the score, comes down here and it takes the score, assigns it to answer string, and then it goes to exam grade score. Exam grade score is our definition. So remember, it's a switch, and static cast means we don't care about fractions. We don't want decimal places. We're only looking at integer values. When you want only the whole number, it's static underscore cast to int. And then all the calculations taken score, divide by 40, okay? And then times 10. So I put up a little thing here for it. Clear, and I guess that's it. Okay, so that one was 5, right? So 5 divide by, in this case, I can't say 40. Well, actually, I have to say 40 because that's what it was. Sorry, it's 20. 5 divided by 20, okay? That equals this, 0.25. And 0.25 times 10, because see the calculations times 10, so times 10 equals 2.5. What's 2.5? 2.5 comes into case 2. That's a F, but the reason it was 10 is because it got the 5. Each of them gave those points of 2, and then the rest was just the integer division or calculation to determine whether it's A, B, C, D, or F, okay? Now, one more with a wrong answer, okay? All right. But also with 5, instead of trying to do a one with 20, it's just too hard to go through them all. So this one's got 4 T's and an F. So this time, you see there's 2 T's, then an F. So that's obviously wrong. And then, so the third one is wrong. The fourth one is a T, and the fifth one's an F. So there's only one wrong. So it's only a difference of 1, but they lose 3 points. Here's why. So let's make the assumption that everyone now understands what happens with the first 2. So the first 2 are T's. The first 2 in the key up here are also T's. So the student first started with 0, okay? So score 0. Then they came down, and for I equals 0 and I equals 1, they were both T's, and they were both T's up here, so they were both right. So the first one was 0 equals 0 plus 2, and then the second one was 2 equals 2 plus 2 more, so it's now 4. So after 2, they got a perfect score, 4 points each. 4 points, that's all they can get. Then the third one, though, is a T, and the third one up here is an F. So in this case, it's wrong, right? So here's where we go. So I equals 2, that's the third character, right? That's where we are. So if answer string of I, which is 2, sorry, the third character, that's this third T right here, okay? That's what I'm hovering on right there, all right? That third T is not this third F, okay? So it's not true for this one. So now it goes to the else. Score was 4, remember? It was 0 equals 0 plus 2, and then 2 equals 2 plus 2 is 4. Now it's 4 equals 4 minus 1, so it comes down to 3. Okay, that's the difference between 10 and 7 is the 3, all right? And again, the rest is just done through our brings this thing down. So the score in this case is 2, 4. Sorry, I didn't do then the last two. The last two were also right. So it was 2, then it was 4, then it went down to 1 because it got one wrong. So I mean 4 minus 1 went down to 3, then it gets 2 more, so it's 5, and then 2 more for 7. And here obviously it was 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So there's the 10 and there's the 7, but they both come out to F. All right, so that's how that works. And then I just put my my switch structure down below. I just explained the math on it. Static cast means we're only doing the whole integer. We're not doing the decimal places after the case. All right. So in the case of this one up here as an example, which I didn't go into, okay, there's 20 characters. All 20 of these, TFs are exactly the same as these TFs. So because of that, they got 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay. So if you get 2 all the time, then after 20, you're at 40. Okay. So when it comes down here, when it comes down here, it's got the score of 40. What's it divide by? 40. Well, 40 divided by 40 is what? It's 1. 1 times 10 is what? 10. 10 is a perfect score. It's the highest A you can get, but it's still an A. All right. So that is basically it. And I'm going to stop there. Oh, I want you to take your pictures. All right. So let me, wait a minute. I think I already had you take pictures, right? Shoot. You know what? I forget. So I'm going to put it up here again in case you did not take pictures. But if you did, bear with me for about 2 more minutes or so while I go through this. And then I'm going to copy this. I think I already copied it actually. And I'm going to paste it in MindTap to show you what score you'll get. All right. So line 1 through line 19, if you did not get this yet. All right. I'll leave it up there for 10 seconds. See, there's a comment next to everything, or just above everything. So picture line 1 to line 19. I really think you guys did this, so I apologize, but just in case. All right, so that's through 19. Next one, 20. All right, so 20 down to 38. All right, so 20, line 20 to line 38, please. Five more seconds. That's line 38, line 20 to line 38, picture 2. All right, so 38 now to 39. 39 to 55. Okay, 10 more seconds. Picture 3. Again, if you already took it, I apologize for going through this again. But these are, I mean, this is entirely everything. You do not need to go back and make any changes. If you do want to get rid of the function definition, I really don't even like to say that. I don't like you to get rid of those. They're good. But anyway, if you want to, then, you can think about what you would do. All right. Okay, so that's 39 through 55. So now 55. So we go to 56. 56 down to line 77. Okay. 56 to line 77. 10 more seconds. Okay. All right, so that's down to 77. And then lastly, 78. And 78 down to 88 ends it. Okay. So take that one if you need to, and then you're done. And then I'm going to carry it, though, over again to MindTap so you can see what'll happen next. All right, so 5 more seconds. All right. That. I know I copied it, but I'm just going to go ahead and do here again. Just go up and get everything. Okay, so right to there. Control copy, over to MindTap. Exercise 8.6. Okay, let's put a slash asterisk slash and a few on here. Why isn't it going? Okay, Control V. Oh, why not? Paste. Let's go back over. Where the heck am I here? Copy. Okay, go back over here. What is going on? Control V. This is bizarre. Why am I in read-only whatever mode? Well, all right, you saw, I mean, I had it from my little thing here anyway, okay? So I'll just take it from my notepad file, but I don't know what's going on. All right, so here, same thing, oops, same thing. Control copy. Wait, didn't I say asterisk? And I don't know what's going on here. Asterisk slash and that control. Oh, come on. Is this thing running or something? Oh, terminal disconnected. Click here to reset, maybe. Oh, come on. Sorry about that. You know what? I'm just going to get out of this one here. Let's just go again. All right, 8.6. Let's refresh this silly thing just in case. 8.6.6. Should still be in my clipboard. It didn't work, I guess, because this thing was saying that I was disconnected for some reason. Anyway, maybe my computer or my internet connection, who knows. All right, so here, let's put the asterisk slash, that slash asterisk, down here, Control B. Yay, it's in now. All right, so you'll just to show you, I mean, if you remember some of the lots and lots of comments, but obviously that's what we just did. All right, so run it. Okay, so now we make this wider. All right, so that's what it should show. So the processing data ... the key, which is the key string, and then the 4 students. See, I don't have 6 students in this file right here. Oh, wait, not that. Wait, is it that? Let's move it over again. Yeah, see, it's just the key and then those 4. I could add those other 2, but that doesn't matter. You know, I mean, here's where they are, right? Okay, so now I want to go in here and run the checks this time. 100%. All you have to do is type the code from your pictures. I know it's a lot of work, but by typing your code, it helps you to learn. Okay, and then you get your 100%. If you run your checks, I think I already ran the checks. Let me just click it here, show you the things. So for the test case, saying, well, because I didn't officially put any input, the input was from our in file, but this is what they expected as the output, and everything's in green because that is what they wanted. So 27, 40, 34, 26, 27, 40, 34, 26, DABD, DABD. All right. All right. So that is that. Now I have to delete that though. If I don't delete this, then what happens is it stays here. And if you guys sign on, it literally, you know, it's there for you taking. Well, I can't have that. I don't mind, you know, having these sessions and then let you do some work on it. But anyway, so now run it again and run checks again. It should now hopefully go back to 0. All right. So that is it, guys. I'm going to sign her off, and I